Florida. Well, I guess funny thing, the trip started off. They drove down back in the day. I remember I was there on the first trip. I was actually at St. Mary's at the time, but St. Mary's we were at Cocoa too. So my brother was at the Heights on the trip, so ran into him there. But a group of parents at the time, I think like Mr. Fritz and my dad and Mr. Helton, sort of raised some money and they drove down. They did like an overnight one day, stayed 3 or 4 days and drove back. And when I got the job first in '02, I did the drive one year in '99, the year I was the JV coach, and we drove back into a snowstorm on the way back in early March, and we were in a Heights van, and I almost died. And I said, if I'm ever the coach, we are flying. And we've been flying down ever since. We stay a week. You've been. We have our traditions. We play Edouard Montpetit, a school from Quebec, a French-speaking school from Quebec. We usually play them in a best of three. And Coco's great. I can't say enough about it. It's an old spring training complex. They haven't put up a stinking coat of paint since we've even been down there. It's a little old, but a little rustic, but it does the job.
I think it used to be the home of the Dodgers, or the Astros, or one or both, actually.
Yeah, I think it's changed hands many times through the years, as most of those facilities do. But yeah, it's
heaven on earth.
Yeah, for us it is. So it's a great week of baseball, and I can't say enough about it.
I believe that's actually the start of Crescente Week. That was teachers were annoyed that the baseball team was taking a week off, so they decided to give the whole school a week off and to do trips.
That is the funny thing is that is sort of true. People snicker at that nowadays because they kind of assume that we've always had Crescente Week, but the idea of Crescente Week was sort of born out of, we did used to miss school. I don't know if I want the players knowing that nowadays, but we used to miss actual school. We'd go over maybe a long weekend and stretch it, and that's how it started. So they kind of incorporated this notion of the whole school having a week of trips, and while the teams go away. And but the baseball team, which had begun in '96, and I can't remember when Crescente started, but 7 or 8 years ago. But that was where it was born. And there is some truth to it that it was inspired by the baseball team's trips to Florida.
All right. So you come back from Florida first couple days of March, and then you hit the ground running.
Yeah, I think that Tuesday we have a game, St. Francis Academy from the MIA, pretty good team. We played a good game. We won against them 8-7 last year, but hit the ground running. Our tournament's that weekend. McNamara's the middle of the next week. We have our league opener that next weekend, the 19th. And it's that March and April is a pretty busy stretch. Basically, late February through mid-May, pretty difficult stretch.
So you have the Heights tournaments, the ever constant Bullis tournament.
Bullis tournament is not a go this year.
All right. So what other tournaments are you going to use to kind of fill in the gaps?
Well, we got the Wilson tournament. We have the Heights tournament. We have the Old Line tournament. We have the state tournament. I would like to have done the Bullis tournament. It didn't really go ahead last year as normal. It sort of turned into Bullis and us playing a doubleheader. But Bullis had an athletic director who used to organize it with me, and just for whatever reason it hasn't gotten off the ground. But the other thing too is with the league now, it makes some of these tournaments a little bit more difficult, just because when you're committing to a tournament, you're basically committing a pitching load for the day, and we have a decent amount of pitching, but you can't be reckless about it. So we do have the Wilson tournament, we have our tournament, and the league and state tournaments, and I think they're properly spaced. We'll see. You never know with the schedule. You never know what the weather's going to do.
good chance to win some hardware for the guys.
Yeah, got a lot of second place trophies. I guess, you know, we won the Bulls tournament with you twice. If I recall, you beat Bullis twice. Yeah. You know, in 08 and 09. The 02 and 03 guys won that as well. Yeah, a few too many, you know, second place trophies, a couple of second place state trophies. Not that that's bad. You know, it's not easy to, you know, to go deep in the state tournament. Particularly, it's grown a little bit, but yeah, we're trying to take that next step for sure.
All right, sounds good. And hopefully we will talk to you next time in hopefully about 5 weeks.
Yeah, hopefully, and just to everybody who's listening, you know, check in with heightsbaseball.com. We're gonna try to update it over time, and we're gonna try to do this about once a month, keep everybody, you know, abreast as to what is happening. And thanks, Tim, for doing this. And I guess that is all.